first of all, I just want to say thank you very much for just taking the time to sit with me. I know you're very busy. We just talked a little bit about.
It's a pleasure, man. It's a pleasure.
A little bit about the amount of dates that you have left on the tour. So let's start there. How is the tour going? How are you feeling about everything that you guys have been able to do on this tour right now?
The tour's been going really good, but there has been a couple of hiccups out of state, especially in the Illinois and California areas, because of the ice raids.
Oh wow, yeah.
So it's really been something that's affected a lot of the whole industry. There's just a lot of fear in the communities, and so outside of the state, it's been tougher. For
absolutely,
sure.
Yes. And
but we were in Florida like 2 weeks ago in Fort Myers, and it went really, really well. So overall, it's good. Wherever there's Tejanos, we do well. But sometimes I have a mixed crowd of Tejanos and Mexicanos, and even some Central American in some areas that go to my concerts, and that's been really rough. Yeah.
And it is unfortunate because you always want to have a good time, bring a good time and good feeling and atmosphere with a lot of your fans, especially I know you like to connect in that way. And let's kind of jump off of that because obviously you've had a successful music career, and I know you're going to get some more accolades potentially coming your way as well. But what prompted your transition into politics? Why do you feel that now is the time to make this move?
It was always something I wanted to do. It kind of started out as that was my dream before I got into music. And I said, well, I wanted to do it. I think now it's kind of evolved into more something I feel like I have to do. Just because I think I'm of the belief of the saying that says absolute power corrupts absolutely. And so we got to bring some balance back to our republic. I believe that. And so I'm going to try to be a part of that and bring back that balance. I've always been a level type of person, not extreme in any way, and so I think that we got to get back to politics of getting along, and if we disagree, we try to work things out. I think that's the best thing for our country.
And I do want to get into some of the issues that we are facing as all of us here in Texas, but how challenging of a decision was that for you to make this move and to kind of move on from your music career?
It was very hard. It took me months to come up with that decision. So it wasn't something I take lightly. I don't ever take any decision lightly, but at the end of the day, I guess what did it for me is I really wanted to do this, and I said, I'm 52 years old. Wikipedia's lying, right? They say I'm 54. It's not true. But
you don't look it though. You don't look 52.
I'm 52, but I said, you know what? I think this is the right time. I really felt like it was the right time, and the beauty of it is nobody's taken away my musical career or my music. The songs will always be there. And we're blessed this year to be nominated for the Latin Grammys.
Right.
That's pretty cool. So musically things have been really good. They had been great prior to me making this decision. And I know some people have told me, what are you thinking? Like, you're doing awesome. Why would you do this? But I think it's important to do things on my own terms. And I have belief in myself and what my vision is for the people I want to represent.
Yeah, and you have stated that you're not Team Red, not Team Blue, that you're Team U, right?
Yeah.
Team Bobby Pulido, and for South Texas. But what does a bipartisan mindset look like to you in this political climate?
I think the Rio Grande Valley and South Texas, in general, South Central Texas, has a set of values that are really different, and sometimes the party structure comes from outside of Texas. It comes from the East Coast and the West Coast. And sometimes those platforms don't align with your people. And I think on both sides, right, of the aisle. So I think the importance should be, I'm going to run as a Democrat. And I believe that Democratic values are really good, but there's some that my constituents don't agree with, and whatever that may be, I don't think that you should choose the party over over your people. And I think that unfortunately that's what's happening right now, where people just vote party line even though there's a lot of things that go against the people. And so I don't think the priority should be to try to please a party. It should always try to please your constituents.
Border security, immigration reform, I know those are two things that you are monitoring closely.
Yep.
What are some bipartisan solutions that you're seeing at the moment, and what are some things that you would like to speak of when it comes to those two topics, which are obviously very hot button issues in the state of Texas?
Actually, there was bipartisanship. Now, it didn't go that far. It was the year before this last election, and Senator James Lankford had negotiated it with Democrats, and there was actually a pretty decent deal, but President Trump killed it. And he said, you know, we have an election to win, and they didn't want to fix the problem. And that's, I think, the biggest issue is immigration should be a priority to fix, not to try to campaign on. And the politics of fear, to me, is not a policy that works, because it affects tourism. I mean, right now tourism's down. People are not coming. Even in the Rio Grande Valley, a lot of our economy depends on that tourism. But people are afraid to come because they see what's going on, and they're saying, oh, we're going to review your visas too to see what we can, cancel. And so I don't think that's the right thing. I think a bipartisan solution is the only answer, but both sides have to have the political will to do so.
And it's, just correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that this is something that's probably affected also local farmers, people that live in some of the rural areas as well.
Yes.
What are some things that you're looking at in terms of labor shortages within District 15, and also some of the concerns that you've had from some of those folks that live in the rural areas?
I mean, not only farmers, but also builders. There's a huge labor shortage of builders, and a lot of these builders, they have their money on the line to build a project, and they still have to pay the bank. That note never doesn't stop.
Right.
And so they're having a lot of issues finishing their projects because, this whole I think it's a myth that you can get rid of that type of labor and then Americans will just step right in and do it. First of all, it's skilled labor. So learning how to do a lot of those jobs takes a lot of time and experience to learn it. And then secondly, just not a lot of people want to go spend their time on a roof, hitting nails in there in the hot sun. They're trying to find people, but it's not happening. So I think we have to come to the understanding, the realization that there are jobs here that Americans do not want to do. That's just a fact. And so how do we provide a legal pathway for them to be here? That whole system should be open to allow more people and encourage them to do it the right way. And then I think it would help a lot of the situation, but you got to have the political will. And I don't think on the other side of the aisle they've shown that yet. They've said something about like that. They say that, but their actions are very, very different.
Absolutely, yes. And let's kind of switch over a little bit to income diversity. I know that's something that is affecting a lot of people in South Texas, specifically when we talk about this area going down to the valley. What are some ways that you would like to help some small businesses out and working families specifically in this region and the district that you are running for?
There's one thing about the Tejano, right? And I say that because my district, District 15, the one I'm running for, is like 78% Tejano, right? We're very proud people. We're very proud. We're very hardworking. I think that both parties have neglected the middle class. And so there's a lot of people in the middle class that are just above the threshold. They're working sometimes 2 jobs and they get no help. And the Republican Party has been very focused on taking care of the rich, and the Democratic on the very underprivileged. But there's a big middle ground of middle class people that are not being catered to. I mean, childcare is expensive. I got a cousin he's got his job, his wife has a job. They just make enough money where the government doesn't help them anything. And they got 3 kids and they got to pay $1,200 in childcare. That's a lot of money for somebody who's not making that much. And so we need to do better to protecting the working class people, to be honest with you. So I think we need to focus on that and help them with that because we're not having kids. People are not having kids because they're too expensive.
Yeah.
And Social Security is going insolvent because of it. So we're not putting people in the system like we used to have, and so we're having insolvency issues with it. And I think immigration is also another thing that helps, because when you bring people in, they pay into the system, and that's something that I think helps us. So right now, I don't think we're on a good path.
Let's switch over to healthcare, Bobby. Obviously, something that I think affects a lot of people, a lot of our older family members, relatives. How would you kind of address some of the things that we're seeing in terms of healthcare issues across not only the region, but the South Texas area?
I'm going to tell you, our healthcare system is unsustainable. Premiums are keeping, especially right now with the subsidies for the Affordable Care Act that are expiring, they're going to drive the price up. We're heading towards an issue where it's going to have to be universal health care, just because the system, and to a certain degree, that's kind of where we are right now, because if you let those subsidies expire, people's premiums are going to go from $400 to $800 or $900. The average person lives paycheck to paycheck. How are you going to do that? I don't have health insurance, not because I can't afford it. It's just not a good value. It's outrageously expensive. So I self-insure myself. And I go to Mexico when I need it. And I think that as an American, the fact that I have to go over there because it's a better value is pretty sad. Because we should be able to offer it at an affordable rate. But the insurance companies have their claws in everything. And so the truth of the matter is that there's a lot of special interest when it comes to that. And even the medical community doesn't like insurance companies, because now they tell them, we're going to only pay you this and we're not going to pay you this. And so they're really becoming like they're more doctors than the doctors. And it's all in the best interest of business. And unfortunately, that's a big problem that we have.
You alluded to this a little bit earlier, so I wanted to kind of circle back. But why do you feel that you are the best candidate to flip an area or district? I know that we just redrew the maps from the state legislature, but this is also a district that has trended a little bit more Republican. So why do you feel you're the best candidate to maybe kind of switch that back on the Democratic side?
I mean, you'll never hear me say that I'm the best of anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? I'm going to go make my case. So this is not about me calling myself the best. Now, other people have said that I have the best opportunity to do so because of name recognition, but I don't think that that's necessarily an advantage. It may be your foot in the door, but it doesn't open the door. You got to go open the door and convince people that you want to make their lives better. And I do feel like the fact that I'm not overtly partisan in that way, I don't view things through the partisan lens. I view things more in a sense of I'm trying to fix things. Let's go get to work. Let's fix the problem for the American people. That's the thing that should be the most important thing, not party loyalty. And so, there's certain things that a lot of people tell me you don't look like the average Democrat. You're not the average Democrat, and they may be right about that. But I think people right now are not. I think more people are independent-minded than even party affiliated.
Yeah, absolutely. So what are some ways that you feel that you appeal best to some of the Latino voters that, like you said, are maybe a little bit more moderate, not so partisan? What are some ways that you feel that you appeal to them the most?
First of all, I'm going to tell you that my biggest strength is I'm a rural guy, and my district is all rural, pretty much. There's some cities in the Rio Grande Valley, but they're kind of still rural towns. They're not city like San Antonio. And I live the rural life. I'll tell you, where I live, I don't have broadband, for example, right? And I think broadband is something that's important. I mean, we also need to have rural broadband, and a lot of times there's a lot of areas that don't have it, and you got to use a cell phone tower or a satellite that charges you for the amount of usage and stuff like that. It becomes kind of tough. So I think most importantly, it's relatability. I get the people because I am just like the people.
Bobby, I noticed that you've had to share a couple of messages on social media from maybe some people that have been a little bit critical of you, saying that you're a little bit out of touch, and maybe some people who are questioning the fact that you've devoted your life to music and you've been on tour. What are your thoughts about that, or what's the message that you'd like to share, not really to just the critics themselves, but also to the voters out there?
You know, the thing is I'm tired of the ugliness. And I'll be honest, right? I fell into that trap years ago. And social media wants you to get angry. They do, because the more angry you are, the more engaged you are. The more engaged you are, the more they can sell your attention to advertisers. And so I fell in that trap years ago. And I would get really riled up by things I'd read until I realized I was getting played. And so I feel we kind of got to get back to the basics of believing your eyes and what they see you, and not let the engagement farming get to us, right? So yes, Fox News did an article and bringing up old 10-year-old tweets that was like a Halloween costume that I dressed up as. I really tried to dress up like the Lost Boys, like Kiefer Sutherland and the Lost Boys. And I made a really poor attempt of it. And then I made a joke, said that I looked like Paquita la del Barrio and Donald Trump had a kid. And they somehow tied that in, that I was riling up hate versus ICE agents. I don't know how they can make that link from 10 years ago and a costume, but this is the kind of stuff that they do. And so I started getting hate messages and, oh, you liberal, and you're this and you're that, and I'm going to boycott you and go back to Mexico and that kind of stuff. And, you know, when this happened, I was like, either I'm going to just ignore this or I'm going to show people what they do. And I think people need to know that that's their playbook. And I just don't think it serves us as a community well to be with that mindset and what they're trying to do, right? People need to see that. And there's ugliness on both sides. I mean, I'll be honest with you, and I don't defend anybody that's on either side that is ugly like that. I think I want to be a part of the solution and not fall into that. It's okay to criticize policy. It's okay to criticize things, but when you get into the hateful rhetoric and try to rile up people, I don't think it's good for us.
Bobby, we obviously are a San Antonio station, so this is going to be mostly San Antonio market. I know that's not going to be part of the voting base here, but what's the message that you would have for our audience in San Antonio? I know you're a St. Mary's guy, so this is something that
St. Mary's, yes.
You know, the Alamo City's, I know, a place that you care deeply about, and these are all issues that I think affect everyone here in South Central Texas in a broader way. So what would be your message to our audience?
Well, to your audience in San Antonio, I sure hope the Spurs get everything resolved.
Yes.
I don't want the Spurs to leave.
That's a big one.
We need the Spurs in San Antonio. So that's a big thing because that's my team. And, you know, look, let's try to be kinder to each other.
Yeah.
We can agree disagreeably or without being disagreeable, or just we can disagree without being ugly. And so my message to you is like, don't try not to get riled up when you're online. And if you see somebody trying to get you mad, you might be a little bit skeptical about their intentions. It's just it's great to get your news, and I always say, you know, social media is a part of life now. Use social media, don't let it use you. And if you're on it all the time, it's using you. And so I get in as much of that just to get informed on what's going on, and I get right back out because I think it's hurting our discourse.
All right, last one here, Bobby. I'm gonna just kind of leave the floor open to you here, but what makes you believe that you can represent the values of not only folks in the Rio Grande Valley, but also our folks that are going to be watching this, hearing this, that are going to be east of the San Antonio greater area?
Well, I care. And honestly, to be honest with you, my life has been great. I know a lot of people get into politics to make money, but I make more doing what I'm doing than I would if I were in there. So it's not about money. I want to make a difference for the people of South Texas and South Central Texas. And so I want to be a voice. You know, a lot of times I studied political science, and it got pretty frustrating to say, well, I'm just somebody with an opinion right now, but if I get in, my opinion will actually matter, and so will my voice. And I'm somebody that's very vocal and opinionated on things that I see. I sometimes will not have a filter that can sometimes be good and sometimes it can be bad. I realize that. But sometimes things need to be said.
Yeah.
And so as long as we do it in a manner that's respectfully, you know, I want to represent the people. I really do. And I don't want to see our people divided.
Yeah.
I think right now there's a huge discrepancy between city folk, and you just leave 20 minutes out of San Antonio and it's like a different world.
Yeah.
And politically it's like the polar opposite, right? And I'd kind of like it to be more balanced, where people just vote on issues and there's not so much polarization. So I think I'm coming in at a right time, because I think we've been polarized enough. I think people are sick of it. And I want to be a part of the solution, not a part of the problem.
It's great stuff. Do you want to talk about the Latin Grammy nomination at
Sure,
all, and just
I mean,
talk
well,
about
I mean-
what that means for you? And I know you've been very busy on tour with your dad as well. I'm pretty sure that these are absolutely moments that you must cherish, being on the stage with your dad.
Yeah, I mean, to be nominated is something really special. I had the chance to win it the last time I was nominated. I had never won before. And I'd be lying if I tell you it didn't feel great. Especially now, I think it'd be even sweeter because I'm actually retiring. So there won't be many more nominations. And so for me, it's been 30 years. It's been a great ride. And if I win it, I'll be really happy. If I don't, I'll still be proud of the fact that we got nominated. And very grateful to the public for all their years of supporting my music and throughout the years. I always wanted to make my parents proud. And I think I've accomplished that with what I've done. And so we're going to continue to try to make my parents proud, you know, even if it's not in music and if it's not in public service.
It's awesome, man. Thank you very much for the time, Bobby. And so 30 years, huh? Wow.
30 years.
Yes. And don't believe Wikipedia, right?
Don't believe Wikipedia. I am 52.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much, Bobby.
Thank you. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you very
Thanks.
much, man.